Today I'm going to be going over my top 10 best Pokemon in my collection, how I got these Pokemon, and why I am always using them in Pokemon Go. Alright, what's happening everyone? Count Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So today we're going to be looking at Pokemon within my collection. There is a plethora of different Pokemon that I've collected over the years, but some of them are definitely standouts, and they're Pokemon that I consider to be the best Pokemon in my collection. Now, of course, I've made videos like this in the past, but the number of Pokemon that I collect every single day does make my collection change quite a bit. So right now, there is a bunch of Pokemon that I consider my top 10 best Pokemon that may not necessarily have been my best Pokemon in the past. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Starting off, we have to talk about this one right here. This has always been my most prized Pokemon. It is a 98% Shadow Mewtwo. You can see right here, it is 14 attack, 15 defense, and 15 health. In the case that I could ever bottle cap a Shadow Pokemon, this one would definitely get it, because getting a 100% IV Shadow Mewtwo would definitely be the dream. I think the dream, of course, would be getting a Shundo Shadow Mewtwo, but considering that Shadow Mewtwo doesn't often come back to Shadow Legendary Raids, I don't necessarily believe I will ever get that. And even if I were to get that someday, it would probably be when I've essentially just completed the game. But yeah. Any case, yeah, this is one of my favorite Pokemon. I actually caught it during, I think it was Pokemon Go Fest of 2020. It was during I think the first Pokemon Go Fest that we had with the pandemic. So yeah, there's a lot of meaning behind this, and it's definitely one of the Pokemon I used most often when it comes to playing Pokemon Go. Team Go Rocket battles, raid battles, gym battles, whatever it could be, I'm always using my Shadow Mewtwo. It's such a powerful Pokemon. Alright, next up, let's talk about these two right here. It's going to be Kyogre as well as Groudon. These are my top 10 Pokemon because I use them quite a bit. First and foremost, Kyogre. Whether it's the primal version or the just regular non-primal reverted version, it's a very powerful Pokemon and I find it to be incredibly useful. And of course, it's a 98%. This is a very powerful Pokemon. I've actually used it a lot in the Master League. Even though it's not 100%, it's still incredibly good. And yeah, I will say if you do not have yourself a 100% IV Kyogre, you should definitely prioritize getting one whenever you can. Whether it be with lucky trades, maybe you could trade for a shiny Kyogre, you could always ask for that, get yourself a Shundo. Whatever the case may be, this is definitely going to be one of your most used Pokemon if you are able to get a 100%. Or something close, like this one. And then of course, right next to it, this is going to be Pokemon number 3. It's going to be my perfect IV, Groudon. And just like with Kyogre, I've used this Pokemon quite a bit within the Master League, as well as all sorts of different gameplay, raid battles, Team Go Rocket battles, all that sort of stuff. And once again, this is another Pokemon that I use as a primal reversion. You know, if I were to primal revert this Pokemon, it would be one of the best Pokemon in the game. And it's definitely one of the most useful. So yeah, and it's also 100% IVs. I think this is one of the first 100% IV legendaries that I've caught. Not the very first, but one of the earliest ones. It's definitely seen the most use out of most of the Pokemon in my collection. Alright, next up, let's go over some Pokemon that you should expect. Going to be my 100% IV shiny Rayquaza. This was actually my very first Shundo, which I got through a lucky trade. It was back during Suicune Raid Day, I think. Let's see, yeah, 2019. That was a long time ago. But yeah, you can see right here, 100% IVs. It's a Rayquaza, and it's also one that I Mega Evolve quite a bit. And it's a very powerful Pokemon. Probably one of the most used, of course. Pretty much all of the Pokemon that I'm going to be talking about are my most used Pokemon. This is definitely one of them. And it's probably one of the Pokemon that I always brag about. A shiny, lucky, 100% IV Rayquaza. Not many people can brag about having that in their collection. So yeah, there you go. Next up, right next to it, it's going to be my Shundo. This is actually a Shundo. What is it? Duskmane Necrozma. Shundo Duskmane Necrozma. This is another Pokemon that I got from Pokemon Go Fest. I think it was Pokemon Go Fest of 2024. Yeah, it's a very, very powerful Pokemon. Of course, the fusions are generally very powerful, and it's definitely one of the Pokemon that I've used the most. It's quite good as a steel type. But of course, there's other steel types that I'm going to be talking about that are also probably even better. But yeah, we'll get into that. Actually, yeah, they're going to be coming up real quick. All right, next up, it's going to be this right here. This is Black Kyurem, and it's pretty close to 100% IVs. It's 96%. I think the next time I get a golden bottle cap, this is probably the one I'm going to use it on. It's actually really good. But yeah, Black Kyurem and White Kyurem, both of the fusions are incredibly powerful when it comes to Pokemon Go, and I will say this is definitely one of my most used Pokemon, and on top of that, it has a really useful adventure effect, which I've used every now and then when it comes to doing raid days and things like that. It's actually really good. So yeah, this is Pokemon number 5, I believe. Yeah, let's see. Let's actually count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that was actually 6. All right, that means number 7. It's going to be White Kyurem. Yeah, this one's actually a Shundo, and as you can see, I made it a Shundo through hyper training. So once I got that silver bottle cap, I used it on my white shiny Kyurem, and I was able to get to 100% IVs. So I have a Shundo, White Kyurem, and it's definitely one of the Pokemon I've used quite often. The movesets on this Pokemon, as well as the stats, makes this one of the most powerful Pokemon in the game. It's probably better than most of the Mega Evolutions out there. That's just how powerful these fusion forms can be, including this one. And I know some people will say, what about Dawnwing's Necrozma? It's also a Pokemon that I've used quite a lot, but it kind of gets outshadowed by Shadow Mewtwo, which is why I don't necessarily use it as often. But yeah, when it comes to the fusions, they're incredibly good. And I will say, when it comes to White Kyurem, it is definitely one of my most used Pokemon. All right, moving on to the next one. It's going to be another Shundo, and this one is one I obtained very recently, actually last year's Pokemon Go Fest. So this is going to be my Shundo Crowned Sword Zacian. And the reason why it's Shundo, right here, you can see those little dumbbells. That indicates that it was hyper trained. And yeah, I think you figured it out by now. These are all the Pokemon you should be using your bottle caps on, regardless of how much you need to train it. Crown Sword Zacian. This is a very powerful Pokemon. It's really good for Dynamax battles. Essentially, after I obtained this Pokemon, got it to 100% IVs, it's a Pokemon that I've used pretty much all the time when it comes to Dynamax battles. Whether it's Gigantamax battles or regular Dynamax battles, this is literally the one Pokemon that I always go to. It's so good. And then on top of that, Team Go Rocket battles, Team Go Rocket leader battles, raid battles. It's probably one of those Pokemon that's going to be good in all aspects of Pokemon Go. And currently it is top tier within the Master League as well. So if you're looking for a solid Master League Pokemon, there you go. Crown Sword Zacian. All right, moving along, there is of course Crown Shield Zamazenta, which is currently in need of a bottle cap. Eventually I will bottle cap it, but I will say it's not necessarily the most useful Pokemon right now. I think a lot of people will make the argument that it's even better than Crown Sword Zacian, which I totally agree in many aspects, but yeah, until I get it to a Shundo, unfortunately, I'm probably not going to use it as much. But regardless, yeah. All right, so let's see where we're at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 2 more. And when it comes to the rest, it's kind of arbitrary. I feel like those Pokemon that I just mentioned are the Pokemon that I use the most. But let me highlight this one right here. This is my 100% IV Terrakion. This is going to come in at number 9. And the reason why I have this Pokemon on this list is because, once again, it comes down to usefulness. When it comes to fighting types, this is an incredibly useful Pokemon. It may not necessarily be good for PvP, but when it comes to any PvE content, you're going to find that this Pokemon is incredibly useful. It does get outclassed by some Pokemon, specifically Shadow Pokemon that have a fighting type, like Lucario is another example of a Pokemon with a Mega Evolution that's more powerful than this, but right now this is one of my top 10, especially when it comes to usefulness. And yeah, I will say It is definitely a Pokemon worth investing into. If you have a 100% IV, you may need to use an elite charge team in order to get Sacred Sword. That is one of those exclusive moves for this Pokemon that really elevates it to top tier, but on top of that it also has Rock Slide, which gives it a lot of versatility. So yeah, overall, this is definitely worthy of being in my top 10 list. Alright, and that leaves us with number 10, and I'm kind of just going through my collection, and it's a little bit of a humble brag right here. But where are you? Where are you? It's somewhere here. There you are. So I mentioned with Terrakion, Lucario, and specifically because of its Mega Evolution, this is one that one day I will bottle cap, but I'm not necessarily putting a lot of priority into it, but this is my number 10. I know this is all going to change. People are probably asking, where's, I don't know, Eternatus? Where's all these other Pokemon? Origin Form Dialga, Origin Form Palkia? Yeah, a lot of those Pokemon I could have included as my top 10, but they are... Oh, first of all, I don't have Eternatus. I was on a plane during the Go Fest finale event, so I completely missed out on Eternatus. I was actually flying to Korea. So, Niantic, please re-release Eternatus, because some of us actually missed out on getting that Pokemon. I really want one, so hopefully I'll get one soon. And then when it comes to Origin Form Dialga and Origin Form Palkia, yes, I would say they are top 10 worthy, but once again, I'm looking to bottle cap them first, and eventually powering them up as well. They're kind of on the bench at the moment, so until they are fully maxed out and fully ready to use, I'm going to go with Lucario, specifically because of Mega Lucario. It's one of the best Mega Evolutions in the game, by far, even though it's not a legendary. So if you're sitting on a Lucario and you can max it out, I definitely suggest you do so, because it's going to be incredibly good. And of course, whenever the Mega Evolution is in Mega Evolution raids, you should definitely raid for it, get as much Mega Energy as possible. I'm actually sitting on 1,186 Mega Energy for Lucario, but I definitely had more. And that's because I use this Mega Evolution so often. It's just such a powerful fighting type, and fighting types, generally there's not many of them. I mean, I did mention Terrakion, but even Terrakion has its weaknesses, so yeah, for that reason, I'm often finding myself using Mega Lucario, so that's going to be my number 10 in this top 10 list, talking about my 10 best Pokemon in my collection. So yeah, there you go. This is something I kind of wanted to make for a while. I went back and looked at some of my old videos. I saw I made a top 10 Pokemon in my collection list video, and I saw that it might have needed a little bit of an update, or at least I kind of wanted to redo it and explain some of the Pokemon a little bit better. And yeah, that's precisely what this video was. So yeah, definitely share your thoughts in the comments below. What is your top 10 Pokemon? Is there a Pokemon that wasn't on this list that you feel like needed to be on this list? Definitely say what Pokemon that is. And yeah, let's have a great discussion. And if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoy all of my content, the best way you could support me is by hitting that like button on this video. And of course, subscribe if it's your first time here. And don't forget to turn on that notification bell so you know exactly when I upload videos. Also, make sure you go and check out the links in the description below. They're going to one of them is going to take you to my Patreon page. Wow, I can't really talk today. Yeah, one of them is to my Patreon page, and if you become a Patreon member, I'm going to add you to my Pokemon Go friends list. So that means for stuff like remote raids, the friendship system, like forever friends, remote trading, all that good stuff. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, make sure you go and check out my Patreon, and also my Etsy store. That's also included in the description below. You could get really cool merch like this one that I'm wearing right here. This is a custom design, and it's something I'm selling on my Etsy store. I make a whole bunch of merch for K-pop and anime. I've actually included some new things, so make sure you go and check it out. And again, a link to that is in the description below. Make sure you go and check it out. And with that said, that's going to be it for this video. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, and I'll catch you in the next video. Jinsula